Hello friends, welcome to the VLSI design course. Till now we have covered our various VHDL concept. Initially we started with meaning of VLSI, then we covered the some of the digital design concept. In that we understood the combination circuits, sequential circuits, then the design of various gates using the multiplexers. Then we started learning the VHDL language. We initially focus the concurrent statements, then we focus on the sequential statement. Now we are in such a stage that we have a good knowledge of VHDL language, as well as we have very good knowledge of the digital design. So let us focus on some of the practical realization of VHDL projects. So in this topic, I am going to cover majorly four projects. In that you can understand the better utilization of all these VHDL constraints whatever we have understood till now. For example, how to use the combination circuit, how to use the sequential circuit, how to use the if else case. So all inclusive whatever the we have studied till now will be applicable in the project executions. So I have taken the various type of project majorly covering. So first one I am going to cover is the hex keypad interface. So this is something like input interface for our FPGA. So why this input interface? For any project we have a input as well as we have a output. So this keyboard interface gives the knowledge of how to interface input devices to the FPGA. Then second project we are going to cover is the 16:2 LCD interface. See, this hex keypad interface, 16:2 LCD interface are very common in the interfacing with the microcontroller, but try to understand interfacing or designing with controller is a totally different than designing is with the FPGA. So whenever we are designing with FPGA, there is a concept of timing diagram and we have to work it from the basics of electronics. Okay, so there is a lot more difference interfacing this hex keypad or any other interface using the FPGA as compared to the controller. So that's what these examples I have taken it up. Then the third project I am going to cover is the digital clock design. So there we are going to design our own digital clock. So it has hours, minutes and second indications. And last important is the UART interface, because whenever we wanted to share any data to any other interface, so some kind of communication we required. So basic protocol we are going to cover is the UART interface or UART communication. So these are the important projects. Definitely it has various applications and gives a lot of learning. So let's begin with the first project, hex keypad interface. So in this also I have divided some videos in two sections. So first section we are going to cover only the realization of or understanding the theory, and second video we are going to focus on writing a VHDL code, a complete VHDL code and its realization on the FPGA platform. So let's begin. So before writing any VHDL code, we have to first understand the its theory or its logical diagram behind any projects. So let us say we have to interface a hex keypad with the FPGA. So for that we have on our development board we have a hex keypad, right? So it has a 4 rows and 4 columns. Okay, so we will try to understand how it works. So before that, to write a VHDL code, what are the things we require? This is definitely sequential circuit, so we need a clock signal, we need a row and column input outputs. So we are declaring this row and column as a in out in our entry declarations, right? And we have a 7 segment display to display the pressed key. So the keyboard we are choosing is in this way. So we have row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3, as well as column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3. So it can represent like this is the 0th value, then this key is from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we are displaying A, B, C, D, E and F. So this is a complete hex keypad, right? Okay, so whenever we press this key, for example this key, it should display 0, right? It should display on 7 segment 0. Okay, so this is what we are expecting the output. Now those who wanted to understand the 7 segment interface, I have covered so many examples using 7 segment. For example, 4-bit up down converter, BCD to binary converter. So where we have used this 7 segment and understood how to display the values on 7 segment. So please go back and watch that videos for better understanding. So let's begin the theory of hex keypad. So hex keypad made up of, let us say, 4 rows and 4 columns. Okay, so to write any VHDL code we need its logical understanding. So let's begin. So how to detect the keys pressed on the hex keypad? Okay, so initially what we are going to do, first step is we have to make all columns values 1. What will happen when initially we make a column is equal to 1 1 1? So whenever any key press, let us say this key I have pressed, so for example this key is we are representing by a number 5, right? So this is 5th key, right? And let us assume this 5th key we have pressed. So what will happen, initially the first stage is, because of the first stage here, this is not visible, I am changing the color. So here, because of initially first stage is to make all column values logic 1 1. So whenever we press this key 5, this row 1 will become logic 1. Okay, so first step is to assign the column values 1 and then check the rows. Okay, so out of 16 keys we are able to identify at least 4 keys. So we may know that this row 1 either this key is pressed or 5th or 6th or 7th key is pressed, but currently still also we don't know because these all columns are 1. So even if you press 4, also row 1 will become 1. If you press 6, row 1 also become 1, and if you press 7 also row 1 becomes 1. So first stage, if column value is all ones, we can check the rows and which row becomes 1. That means out of 16 we can able to find out the minimum 4 keys. Okay, so out of 16 we can know that out of these 4 rows we know this row is 1. That means out of these 4 keys one of the key is pressed. Okay, then what we have to do, then we have to do one thing, we have to change the column value. Initially we have to force it 0 1 0 0, then again check the row is equal to 1. If key 4 is pressed, let us assume if key is now if column is 0 1 0 0, so all other columns are 0, first column only 1. So what will happen, but here key 5 is pressed, so column 2 value is 0, 5 is pressed, so this will cross connection will happen and row 1's value will become 0. But what we are going to do, we are checking each and every row value. If row of 1 is still 1, then we can say it's a, in this condition, if column is 1 0 0 and if row is 1, then we can say 4 is detected. Try to understand, it's little bit complicated, but try to understand. If now in this case definitely row will not become 1, row will become 0, then we have to check the next condition. For the next condition, let us say, then we have to force column is equal to 0 1 0 0, and then again we have to check the row. If row is equal to 1, that means 5 is detected. So like that we are going to detect each and every key. So I will summarize in the next slide. So step by step, once again just note down. So our first step is force column all column values 1. When key is pressed, respective row will become 1. So there are 4 rows, so either row 0, row 1, row 2 or row 3, out of 4 rows only one row will become 1 because from that row only key is pressed. Okay, understood? Now check which row is 1, that is out of 16 keys we come across the 4 keys only. Okay, so we are able to search out of 16 keys only 4 keys. Okay, now out of this 4 key we have to identify the one key in state 1. So we are going to write one state diagram. So in state 1 I am mentioning here, in state S1 now we have to force column is equal to 1 0 0 1 0 0. So to search for a particular key, now we have to change the column value. Initial column value is all ones. Now to search a particular key we are going to force column value 1 0 0. Now search for exact key press out of these 4 keys by making individual column value 1 instead of in state S1 column is equal to 1 0 0. So out of 16 we come across 4. Now in that 4 also we have to identify a particular key, so we need to change the column value by giving different value. Initially we will give 1 0 0, then check the row value. Now that is the next statement. Now once again check the row. If row is still 1 means a pressed key is 0. Okay, if it is, that means if row 0, that is if row 0 is 1, row 0 is 1, I have not mentioned here, if row 0 is 1 means 0 is pressed, else then again we have to change the column value and again recheck the row value. Now once again check the row 0. If row 0 is 1 means key 1 is pressed. So this is, we have to continuously do it. I hope you have understood this. So once again I will try to understand in a diagram. So initially we have to make all columns 1. So because of all columns 1, whenever any key press, so once you press this key, let us assume this key pressed, what will happen? Let us assume if this key is pressed, so it creates electrical contact between the row and column. So row 0 becomes 1. So initial search, we can say acquisition search or fast search, out of 16 keys we come across this out of 4 keys. So row 0 will become 1 when you press this or this key or this key or any out of these 4. Then later on only column, this third column you make it 1, this other you make it 0, and again search for the, if row 0 is still 1. This we are going to do at very high speed so that human may not recognize. So this we are going to do at very high speed, let us say in some of the microsecond. Okay, in few microseconds. So whenever you press a key, internally all these checks happen and immediately will give a result. So let us assume if this key is pressed and this one also, in the next stage we have make column is equal to 1 0 0 0, then this row will become 1, and we can say this key is detected, else it will go on searching for the next key by forcing column value 0 1 0 0. Still if row 0 is value is not 1, then we have to change the value to 0 0 1 0, and still if it is not 1, then we have to make it 0 0 1. So like that, for a particular key we are going to search the algorithm. So for that we have to write a VHDL code. So let us create a state diagram for better understanding. Okay, so let us start with the S0 state. In S0 state we are assigning column is equal to all ones. Now if a key is, any key is pressed, if key is pressed, then we have to go to the S1 state. Now in S1 state I have divided again some 4 states. If row of 0 is 1, we have to go into S2 state and we have to make column 1 0 0. So this statement, why this I am mentioning, this is going to help us in writing a VHDL code. Okay, so we have to assign value. After going into S2 state, we have to assign column value is equal to 1 0 0. So initial value of column is all ones, then immediately we have to, once key is pressed, and fortunately if row of 0 is 1, we have to assign column value is 1 0 0. If row of 0 is not 1, then we have to check for row of 1. if row of 1 means this row is 1, then we have to go to the S6 state. So these are the states I am going to declare in the VHDL program. If this is also not 1, then we have to go and check row 2. If it is 1, then we have to go for S10 state, and if row of 3 is 1, we have to go to the S14 stage. So initially when S0 state, column value are 1. If one of the key from one of the row, maybe it may be row 0, row 1, row 2 or row 3, we have to switch to the particular state. So for example, S2 state for row 0, S6 state for row 1, S10 state for row 2 and S14 state for the row 3. Now once you reach into that state, so what this indicates, what this implementation indicates, out of 16 state we come across only 4 keys. Here we have to search only for 4 keys. After coming into S10 state, we have to search only 4 keys, and after coming into S14 we have to search only 4 keys. So initially in S0 we have total 16 key search. After come into the S1 state, we have to only identify the out of 4 key only 1 key is pressed. Now go to the next state, that is in each state how we are going to identify the key. So let's start. Now let us assume we are in a S2 state. Okay. Now in S2 state, so S2 state means this row 0, right? So definitely from this row one of the key is pressed. That means initially all columns value are 1. So because of that only row 0 becomes 1 and we come into the S2 state, right? Now out of this 4 state, definitely not all 4 keys are pressed. So let us assume this key is pressed. I am just giving assumption this key is pressed. Okay. Now how to identify this key? This is under this explanation is under this state diagram. Okay. So this we have assigned 1, 2 and this is nothing but the 3. I am just giving 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. So better understanding. Okay. Now we are in S2 state. Now while coming to the S2 state, initial value of column also already it is mentioned as a 1, 0, 0 and 0. Okay. So because of this column 3 is 1, MSB of column 3 is 1 and key is already pressed. So this key 2 is pressed, correct? Key 2 is pressed as we assume. So row 0's value is definitely in this condition row 0's value is 0. So let us come here. If in S2 state, if row of 0 is 1, if it is a 1, then 0 is detected, else this is the else part, right? If row of 0 is 0, yes, we are here and we have to make column value is 0, 1, 0, 0. That means row of 0, right now row of 0's value is 0, that means this is a invalid condition, right? So we are going to here. If row of 0 is 0, yes, now row of 0 is 0, then we have to assign column value 0, 1, 0. So we have to assign column value 0, 1, 0, 0 and go to the next state S3. Right now we are in S3. Again we have to check if row of 0 is 1. So because of this key is pressed, here also row 0. So right now we are checking only row 0. Please remember. So here again value is 0 because this 0 logic is shorted here and row 0 is 0. So S3 this condition also false. Right? Then again we have to come here. So else part, if row of 0 is 0, yes, then assign the value 0, 0, 1, 0. So assign the value 0, 0, 1, 0 and check the row value. Now because of this row value, column value is 1 and this key is pressed, so row of 0 value becomes 1. So right now we are in S4 state. So after that we have to go in S4 state. Now we in S4 state we have to check if row of 0 is 1, yes, row of 0 is 1 and we have detected the key pressed is 2. Understood? If we detect the key, immediately we have to switch to the S1 state, make column is equal to 1. So we are ready for the next key detection. I hope this gives a better understanding of the key detection. So likewise, so this is the implementation for a row 0. So once we finish this 4 keys and if you are not detected, then we have to go for the S6 state. So S6 state is for the row of one value. So in S6 state, so let us assume, once again I will try to explain it and then I will skip and we will move to the writing a VHDL code. So let us assume now we are in S6 state. So this is S6 state, that means row of 1 is detected 1 when initially all columns value are 1, that time row 1 is detected. You remember initially we are in S0 state, S0 to S1 state we move. From S1 we directly moving to S2, S6, S10 and S14. So right now just assume that we are in S6 state, and now out of these 16 keys we come across only these 4 keys. Now we have to search out of this 4 key, 1 key is pressed. Okay, so let us begin. So let us assume I am just assuming this last key is pressed. So this last key is nothing but the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let us assume this key 7 is pressed. Okay, so I am writing here 7. Okay, so let us assume this 7 is pressed, and now we have to find the algorithm for that. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, now initially in S6 state, while coming to S6 state, we have made values 1, 0, 0 and 0. Okay, so once this is done, now we have to check the row of one value. Because this key is not pressed, key 7th key is pressed, so definitely always it will give the contact of this row. So 1, okay, 7 key is pressed, so 0 will be sorted and output will become 0. So it will come here, row of 1 is equal to 0. Then we have to make column 0, 1, 0, 0. So this condition is false in this case. Now if row of 1 is 0, then we have to make column value 0, 1, 0, then go to S7 state. Now we are in S7 state, and we have to check again if row of 1 is 1. Now again we have to check this 7th key is pressed, so again here logic is 0. So here also row of 1 value is again 0. So this condition also false, row of 1 is not 1. So row of 1 is 0, then force value 0, 0, 1, 0, right? And then go to the S8 state. In S8 state, again check row of 1 is 1. Now because of this 0, this key is pressed, so here also output becomes 0. So this condition also false. Then row of 1 is 0, yes, then make the column value 0, 0, 0, 1. So because of this 1 goes to this column, this key is pressed, so this 1 shorted here and row value becomes 1. So right now we are in S9 state. We will check the first condition. If row of 1 is 1, yes, it is 1. Then 7 is detected, and we are going back to the S1 initial state. Okay, so I hope you have understood the concept of or logic of how to detect the press key in a using a FPGA logic, or we understood how to detect the hex key pressed. So this is the logic behind detecting the key pressed on the hex keypad, particular key pressed on the hex keypad. So overall this the state diagram, whatever we have written till now for each row and for the each column, now we are going to write a VHDL code for that. Okay, so this is again a next state diagram for the row 2. This is for the row 3. So here we are able to detect the key C, key D, key E and key F. So like that all the keys, individual keys, we are going to detect. So let us begin or start writing a VHDL code. Okay, so before that, so we will stop this video till now, because otherwise if you continue, then this video will become a very huge video, and it may create some problem while loading and uploading the videos. So it becomes a bigger size, so it is not beneficial for the viewer also to watch these big videos. So in next video we are going to cover this writing a VHDL code for this hex keypad interface. So let's stop here and